Okay, so this week's episode is going to be a bit difficult, firstly because, as you can see, my computer decided to stop displaying color graphics whatsoever. Secondly, it's about a topic that's way too close to my heart. I might get a bit emotional. That topic is, of course, Star Wars. It's a little known fact about the series, but Star Wars is how it began, with a long-lost pilot episode that I'm sure I'll unearth one day. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, as a kid, I loved Star Wars. I loved Star Wars for the NES. I love the Super Star Wars trilogy on Super Nintendo. Absolutely sublime arcade-style games. And then this came along in the mid-90s. LucasArts kind of sold their soul to the FMV devil like every other company. But they didn't have to sell their biggest property. They didn't have to go down this road. And as a child, I was absolutely heartbroken. I mean, I even picked up one of these. So desperate to fly bloody X-Wing accurately, I picked up proper flight stick, and the game didn't do the flight stick justice. It didn't do me justice. It didn't do Star Wars justice. So to this day I've been seeking that justice, and George Lucas, I know you're watching this at home. This one's for you. I'm coming after you, and this video is just the beginning. I want my revenge. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Rebel Assault. I've really been dreading this one, but yeah, brace yourselves, folks. So yeah, it's a Star Wars FMV game. This game looks pretty cool. You sort of fly around, X-Wings. There's no sound effects for some reason. Sort of a prescient vision of the way Rogue Squadron and Rogue Leader would be. A future coolness. This sort of weird voice chimes in the background. I'm not really sure what that's about, but anyway. Time to do the first mission. Obligatory training stage. I've seen these in 1,000 games. Nice sort of cartoon rendered. Oh, that's alright for the mid-90s, I guess. Anyway, the first stage is an FMV tunnel. We've seen these before. And I try and control it with my mouse. And holy crap, I cannot steer for love nor money. Okay, second run. Let's see if I fare a bit better. The y-axis is inverted on my mouse, which took me by surprise, and I'm blaming that for my first death. So here we go. Run up against a wall. So yeah, it's just a tunnel with arbitrary damage, and I find that really, well, frankly, offensive, considering it's the first stage. It's a bit of an outrageous difficulty spike, or it's a dick move on the very first stage. So I think, well, screw this. I'm gonna play with my joystick, like I did when I was a kid. Right, so I plug in my joystick. I remember beating this stage, and holy crap! Look at me zip across the screen now! It's way too sensitive, but that's okay. At least I can turn goddamn corners. So here we go. I'm gonna indulge my inner Jedi by bouncing from one side of the screen to the other. And yeah, basically, all this is if it detects you in a certain part of the screen, it deals you massive damage. Which seems pretty outrageous to me. I'm not really sure how or why this game was made, except for raw, naked money grabbing, and I really hate that from LucasArts. In the mid-90s it's typical, isn't it? Anyway, I take a bunch of damage, and I think to myself, well, maybe I'll give it one more run, but then guess what, the game says screw you, and I think, well, no, screw you straight back. There's absolutely no way I'm playing Rebel Assault for any longer. Okay, boys and girls, it's time for the sequel, Rebel Assault 2, The Adventures of Darth Vader. See, this game's got Vader in, right? How could it be bad? Well, I guess there are enough people who had faith in the original game, or who somehow managed to beat the first stage, let alone the entire title, to demand a second entry in the series. I'm not among them, I didn't have this as a kid, but I thought it would be a reasonable assumption going into this blind run to keep my joystick plugged in. I was completely and utterly wrong. Look at the first stage. Complete TIE Fighter rushdown. Joystick's not quick enough to respond, is it? Look, I'm shooting all over the place. Absolutely horrible stage. Fitting introduction to an absolutely horrible game. Let's have another arbitrary difficulty spike, and while we're at it, why don't we just hang the game every so often? That's not a dick move at all, is it? Bloody LucasArts. Anyway, I persevere. And I shoot them for hours. This run doesn't succeed, but eventually I find a run that does by using the mouse. You see, if you shoot with the mouse, and then you move the reticule, the bullets move to where you shoot, like after the fact, so you can fire and then aim. Which is a bizarre design decision and unique in this game. I've never seen anywhere else. But anyway, that's how I managed to whore out my guns to beat this stage. Unfortunately, that takes me to the second stage, which, unfathomably, is worse than the first. Look at this, it's a Time Crisis ripoff. Absolutely outrageous. The joystick automatically defaults to the center, so you can't really shoot at things. The hiding mechanic is completely broken by this, because if you hide, it means you go back to aiming at the center, and what the hell's the point of that? And this stage honestly had me tearing my hair out. I wanted to persevere, I wanted to see if there's some comedy gold after these two dudes, but guess what, I never did. Never did beat this stage. It was the outrageous difficulty spike at the beginning of the second stage, and then I thought, well, screw this. I wonder, George, if at any stage in the making of these games, or during the production of the most recent Star Wars films, or even Shadows of the Empire, you thought about anything except your own coffers. thought once about quality control or any gibberish like that. Obviously not. So George, I'm going to make this real simple. I'm coming for you, George. I'm bringing this stick. I'm coming for you. And I'm going to bring my discs. I'm going to bring Rebel Assault 2, maybe even Dark Forces if I feel like it. I mean, the later levels of that were utter garbage. Anyway, I'm bringing my discs. I want a full refund, public apology for all the abominations you've unleashed in the sacrosanct name of Star Wars. And if I don't get them, well, I'm going to fly an X-Wing into your house. I mean, fair's fair, George. I'm going to fly an X-Wing into your house like you flew an X-Wing straight through my heart. Thanks for watching.